So the way this would work is you can buy some ION tokens, you stake those ION tokens, they can then be rolled out to be Internet of Energy community credits. And that's the Holochain mutual credit system that runs locally. And so then you can imagine there are a number of houses in that local community that have got some validation devices in there. They might be a smart plug, it could be a smart meter, it could be a few people with just the mobile app running there. They're part of the system as well. And essentially what it means then is there will be, you can trade the credit associated with that either as energy itself, as kilowatt hours, depending on what the network conditions are, but it can also be traded as energy use value. And that's really important here because some of the value that what we're trying to solve here, a lot of the value is coming from how we balance out the grid and make it work really seamlessly. And the way that works is when there's too much demand for energy, networks, when there's too much demand for energy, we get this a lot here, it's too hot, everyone's demanding energy at the same time, networks will shut down. They'll have to shut down the electricity system because it just gets overloaded with demand. It can't provide it. And so you get these rolling brownouts we see in California, or you get the network provider decides to cut the power to the whole thing. And so what we can do is we can say, right, great, if I want to provide a bit more power earlier in the day to compare to someone else, I get paid some of those credits because I've been a good energy actor in the system. And that happens already. It exists here, it's called demand response, exists in the US, exists all over Europe. It doesn't exist at that micro level of the machines doing it in a blockchain or a Holochain system to enable that to happen and transact it completely. And so what that means is you start to be able to pay or get paid for taking energy action. You don't have to have solar panels. You just have to be part of the system and take some action. Helps if you've got a few kind of cheap smart plugs that we've got certified and running the ION protocol. They can then help you transacting that a bit easier, but it's not absolutely necessary. So the question, if you need some energy, what would happen is you may have some credits that you've stored by staking your ION tokens into IOEC. Then you would say, hey, I want to turn my air conditioner up a bit more. It would send a message to the other air conditioners that are around and say, hey, anyone happy to go down a bit? And we're like, yeah, cool, we're happy to go down a bit. Okay, great. So your air conditioner takes a bit more energy, their air conditioner takes a little bit less, and you pay them a little bit of your IOEC. And so the next day, they might want a bit more, you might want a bit less, and they pay it back to you. And that's all it is. It's just it's a mutual credit zero-sum system that enables a different economic incentives and social incentives to work through. And as it evolves, there are embedded networks where you can actually pay for the actual kilowatt hours. There'll be other incentives that come with certain retailers that might be in the country you're in or the place you're living, whereby that can actually relate to just genuine solar power being produced and shared between the houses. And the key bit about ION is that it's a payments platform that enables basically everything to plug into it. And so we're testing this right now with neighborhood batteries in Australia and enabling us to understand how you might, genuinely move that around. And that part about neighborhood batteries is super interesting because you'd be paying into the system with your IOEC credits and getting energy out of the battery. And the battery acts as a reserve for those credits going up and down.